All right, let's get right into it. I'm sure you've played around with custom GPTs, right? But let's be honest, a lot of them, they just don't deliver. They're not the game changers we were promised. So today, we're going to blow past all the basic stuff. We're talking about 7 real secrets to turn your custom GPTs from, these simple toys into actual, powerful, expert-level AI tools. And look, let's not beat around the bush here. This quote from Daron Vener, a guy who's sunk over 4,000 hours into building these, says it all. Most custom GPTs suck. It's harsh, but it's true. They're mostly fluff machines, pure garbage. They promise the world, but just spit out generic noise. So what's the deal? Why are so many of them so bad? Well, to build something that actually works, we first have to figure out why so many of them fail. And it all boils down to one single fundamental misunderstanding of how AI really works. And this is it. This is the big one. The core problem is that you just cannot outsource mastery to an AI. So many of us treat it like some kind of magic box. We think we can just demand an expert results without putting any real expertise in. But that's not how it works. An AI is an amplifier, It can only magnify what you give it. It can't just poof, create mastery from nothing. I love this metaphor. It just makes so much sense. Think about it like this. Your expertise, that's the fuel. The custom GPT, that's the engine. Now, if you put in cheap, watered-down, surface-level knowledge, what do you get? You get a weak, sputtering engine that's totally unreliable. But if you fill it up with high-octane, premium fuel, I'm talking deep, real-world mastery, well, that's when you get an engine that roars. That's when you get those powerful, superior results we're all after. Okay, so keeping that fuel and engine idea in mind, let's start with the foundation. These first couple of secrets are all about how to create that high-octane fuel for your AI engine. All right, secret number 1. And listen, this one is completely non-negotiable. You have to start with real, genuine expertise. Your GPT is basically a mirror. It's just going to reflect the quality of the knowledge you feed it. If you only sorta understand the task you want it to do, well, there's just no way it's going to perform well. It's that simple. And here's a really simple litmus test for you. Before you even start building, ask yourself this one question. Can I teach this to a human? Seriously, if you can't break down the steps, the little details, and what good actually looks like for a new human employee, then you are definitely not ready to teach it to an AI. Okay, but let's say you do have the expertise. How you give that knowledge to the GPT matters a lot. And this slide just nails the biggest mistake people make. They create what's called a knowledge swamp. They just dump like 50 random PDFs and docs into the knowledge base thinking more is better. But it's not. It's actually worse. You're just creating noise and confusing the heck out of the GPT. What you need is the exact opposite: dense, clean, structured knowledge. And that leads us straight into secret number 2. You have to use what's called the density filter. For every single piece of info you're thinking of adding, you have to grill it with these 3 questions. 1, is it accurate? 2, is it structured? And 3, this is the big one, is it absolutely necessary? If the answer to any of those is no, just leave it out. Because these GPTs, they thrive on high-density information, not just a massive volume of it. All right, so we've got our premium fuel sorted out. Now it's time to talk about the engine itself. This is where we get into designing the internal wiring of the GPT. How it actually thinks, how it operates, and most importantly, how it gets the job done. And this right here is a huge distinction. It's the difference between a good GPT and a bad one. Most custom GPTs out there are just explainers. They're built to give you advice, maybe a plan. They act like a fancy search engine. But a great GPT, it's built to execute. It doesn't just tell you the plan, it follows a specific step-by-step process and does the work for you. You want an expert employee, not a chatty consultant. So how do you build one of these executors? Well, that brings us to secret number 3. You have to engineer an AI standard operating procedure, an AI SOP. It's like a blueprint for its brain. You have to spell everything out. What are the exact inputs it needs? What's the step-by-step sequence of operations? What are the quality standards it has to meet? And what's the final output format? You do this, and you transform it from a talker into a real doer. But wait, there's a catch. Even if you have the perfect process, your GPT can still go off the rails. And this leads us to secret number 4, which is a step that almost everyone misses. You have to build in defenses. You have to proactively guard against the built-in flaws that every single large language model has. And I'm not just talking about ChatGPT. These flaws are everywhere. OpenAI, Google, you name it. You know what I mean? They hallucinate, just make stuff up. They ramble on and on. They take a complex idea and oversimplify it into mush. They get lazy, especially on bigger tasks, and they can just be flat out inaccurate. So here's the key. A great GPT isn't built for when everything goes right. It's engineered to expect things to go wrong, and it blocks that bad behavior before it happens.
Okay, so you've got your fuel. You've got a well-designed engine with built-in defenses. Now, how do we actually build the thing? How do we put it all together efficiently? Like the pros do.
So what if I told you that you could build these expert-level GPTs, not just a little faster, but 5 times faster than you're doing it right now? I know, it sounds like a sales pitch, but it's not a gimmick. It's all about using the right kind of leverage. And here it is, secret number 5. This one is a little meta, but it's a game changer. You use other GPTs to help you build your main GPT. Just think about it for a second. You could have a specialized GPT that's a total pro at structuring your knowledge base. You could have another one that's an expert at designing those AI SOPs we talked about, and maybe a third that does nothing but write killer system prompts. It's the ultimate leverage, right? You're literally using AI to build better AI. Now, secret number 6 is all about mindset. Because let's be real, your first draft, it's probably going to be a little underwhelming. And that's okay. That's not a failure, that is a prototype. You have to think like a software developer. Building a great GPT is all about iteration. You build a version, you test it with real-world problems, you find out where it's weak, and then you go back and make it better, over and over. And to help with that whole iteration process, here's secret number 7. This is a real pro tip. It's called tactical prompting. So instead of tearing down and rebuilding your entire system prompt every time you find a flaw, you build a little library of what we can call promptlets, these tiny targeted prompts. When your GPT starts to drift or make a mistake, you just pop in one of these promptlets to patch the behavior and get it back on track. It is such a fast and efficient way to improve your build. So, okay, we've gone through all 7 secrets. When you put them all together, what does it all add up to? Well, it's way more than just a better tool. It's a totally different way of thinking about and using AI. It's a fundamental shift. And this slide just captures that shift perfectly. You stop being just a user, someone who asks an assistant for answers. You become an architect. You're not just prompting, you're designing expert systems from the ground up. You go from just consuming information to actually creating real, tangible value with AI. And honestly, this skill set, it is a genuine superpower right now. Think about it. You can create systems that deliver expert-level work, and you don't have to write a single line of code. You get to stand on the shoulders of giants, leveraging the billions that OpenAI poured into this platform. And you know what the best part is? This isn't just a ChatGPT skill. These core ideas, starting with expertise, focusing on density, designing for execution, they work everywhere. You can take this knowledge and apply it to Google's Gemini, to Grok, to whatever comes next. So, I want to leave you with this one question, because learning this stuff isn't just about the tech, it's about creativity. Once you really master this art of translating deep human expertise into an AI that can actually execute tasks reliably, the possibilities are just mind-blowing. The only real limit is your own imagination. So if you could build an expert AI for literally any task, what would you build first?